Hey folks, Lemon02. We're going to be doing something a little bit different today. So we are going to be doing some Canadian Highlander content. I know I had some folks asking for 93-94 content. Honestly, the format got a little old for me online at least. I like playing on paper, but yeah, it's a little tough to get games in 93-94. So I'm sorry for that if that's one of the main reasons or the main pulls that you have to my channel. If you want to see more games of it, though, I'd recommend going to Cardboard Confrontation. I've played quite a few games against those gentlemen, and they have quite a few games up as well. But with the card pool being so small, a couple cards, notable cards not being in the format, it's very tough to get a game of that. But anyways, back to what we're doing here. So this is Canadian Highlander, and what I want to be doing today is actually something different that I've tried and done before, and it's going to be actually like building a deck from the ground up. It's not going to be a completely unknown archetype. As you can see, we have this deck labeled Doomsday combo. And then take it into some practice games after we get done building it. So, I would like to build Doomsday combo. It will likely be a deck that has the capability to storm as well. But I think Doomsday is a fun card to one brew around, and two, it's just, it's a cool card. What art do you guys like? I kind of like the original art. Now we can use this art. We'll use this cool art. It's interesting. You know what? I changed my mind. This art's just the best. Alright, so Doomsday. If you're familiar with Doomsday, let me first pull up the card preview panel so we can explain what this card's going to do, and then kind of like what the idea of this deck is going to be. Doomsday is a very bizarre old card. Costs 3 black, which is one of the coolest converted mana costs. I guess one of the coolest mana costs in the game, not converted, but mana costs in general. What you end up doing with this card is you search your library and graveyard for 5 cards, exile everything else, with the exception of your hand. Your hand zone stays the same after you cast this. You put the chosen cards on top of your library in any order. So you basically have, and you lose half your life rounded up. So you basically have a 5-card library at that point, which enables you to win in a few ways. One, you can use like a Yawgmoth's Will and Storm Out if you have the right cards in hand, plus graveyard or plus library zone to get a storm kill. Or you can do like a lab man kill. Like Laboratory Maniac is kind of the traditional way of doing this. There's a couple new ways. There's Thassa's Oracle, which is a 1/3 that has the same effect, except it's an ETB trigger, and the ETB trigger is actually what wins you the game, not the creature itself, which makes it probably superior. Not probably, it is superior to Laboratory Maniac in terms of killing with this card. And then you have Jace. There's a new Jace. I think it's Raveler or Veiler of Mysteries or something like that. I can pull the card up real fast. I don't think I want to play with that card or with Laboratory Maniac. I think I want to play with a Thassa's Oracle and the Stormwind Con. Let's pull this card up, though, so we can see it. If it will allow me to get there. Which you'd think like the 3 blue would be pretty prohibitive in a deck trying to cast a triple black spell. But I don't think this is that bad. I think it's a better win count Lab Man. Because it's a walker, it's harder to kill. This also probably has more impact in the game than the Laboratory Maniac does as a Grey Ogre on its own. But this card does it as well. And in this deck, you're going to typically be more blue biased, I tend to think, because you're going to want to run a card like, you don't want to run cards like Gush. Gush is quite powerful in this deck. It allows you to break into Doomsday piles, which is kind of one of the things that you want to be able to do. So let's pull up Thassa's Oracle. And then one of the things I kind of want to try to do with this deck is I want to make it a Tainted Pact and a Demonic Consultation deck. Now, Tainted Pact is going to be interesting because, like I said, I kind of do want to be able to run Gush. But, which means it's going to be difficult to get the mana base correct for the deck. So, again, display panel. Tainted Pact, interesting card. It says 1 in a black instant. It says exile the top card of your library. You may put that card in your hand unless it has the same name as another card exiled this way. What makes playing cards like Gush interesting is because you can only play 1 basic island. I guess technically 2 with a snow island and a basic island, but they're both basic islands. But it makes it a little challenging, right? Put the card in your hand unless it has the same name as another card exiled this way. Repeat this process until you put a card into your hand, or you exile 2 cards with the same name, whichever comes first. So if you exile 2, like let's say basic islands, for instance, or basic swamps, or anything, 2 Grey Ogres, then this card does nothing. You just exile a bunch of stuff. Demonic Consultation is a card that basically you name the card that you want to find, and you just exile down to it. You exile the top 6 cards of your deck automatically. So if the card you're looking for is in that top 6, you're going to exile your whole library and probably lose the game. That's what you're looking to do. And if not, you exile until you find it, and then you go to whatever cards are left in your deck, which could be 20, could be 30, could be the 7th card down. You only exile 6 plus find the card you want. But the reason these cards are kind of interesting is because with win kind of like Fastest Oracle, um, you can just cast them in response to the trigger and win the game, which is pretty powerful. So I would like to be able to run these. Tainted Pact is going to be interesting, and I'm not sure yet if we're going to have the ability to run it or not. But I kind of want to have these two be in the deck and kind of be signature cards for this build. I'm thinking that I'm probably going to have to run a significant number of non-basics to make this work, which is traditionally something you don't have to do in these builds. Yes, we'll run a Fetid Pools. So I'm doing an island search first, because like I said, I do kind of want the islands. I want to have heavy islands in this build. I'm even debating just like running breeding pools and stuff like that. I'm going to wait on that specifically. But maybe we look to get into another color too, just so we can debate that. We're going to run at least one basic island, and then one basic snow. Because it may be challenging, and then Mystic Sanctuary will get in there. This will get in there. This may be a challenge, though. It may just always be a tapped land. I think I do want to run these, at least. I think I want to run Tropical Island, Tundra, Underground Sea, Volcanic Island. I definitely want to run Watery Grave, because I'm going to be primarily a black deck. We'll put Days over here. It's a card that I probably will play in this deck. Not probably, I will. I'll leave it over here for now. Let me go to Swamps. I'm probably going to need to run those, actually. I'm thinking about it now. Like, if I want to make this work, the problem's going to be the deck will take a lot of damage off those lands. So it'd be like a 5-color mana base, 5-color blue mana base, with just it being a 2-color deck, basically. But I do have the ability to splash at that point for pretty much anything. And then we die to, like, Blood Moons and stuff. But, I mean, it may not be bad to, like, actually splash into green, because we could play, like, stuff like Leopold, like Abrupt Decay Assassin's Trophy, which is all pretty good. Deathrite Shaman also, if we wanted to. Deathrite Shaman is probably a little more of a stretch, but I don't think the others are horrible. Let's go back to islands. I'm going to consider this. Like, do 5-color, basically like 5-color mana base, blue-black. Alright, so we want that. We'll take this one. And let's just do a quick island count. There are 13 islands. That may be good enough. Maybe good enough. Put in Prismatic Vista as well. Fetch lands are good. Let's just go ahead and get these out of the way as well while we're at it, because we're going to play these. These cantrips are pretty much, I think, auto-includes in almost every, not every blue deck, but like 95% of blue decks should play Ponder, Preordain, and Brainstorm, because they are the tops as far as cantrips go. Speaking of tops, we'll probably run Sensei's Divining Top in this deck as well. Feels like a Divining deck. Alright, we'll go to Swamps next. You could even run like Bad River and stuff like that, but I don't know, that seems like it's a little bit more of a stretch. The black fetch lands will get in there. Like I said, I think I am going to want to play some green cards in this deck. The cool thing is we can build it more like Storm. What I don't want to do, so you guys understand from like a building perspective, like I don't really want to rely heavily on building into Underworld Breach, because I've already built that deck. Like, I think that deck's very good, but I kind of want to build something distinct from it, just interesting and distinct from it. Is kind of my thinking. Yeah, we'll put a Bayou in. I think Bayou is worth it. Not an island, obviously, but very powerful card nonetheless. My initial inclination was to kind of build the deck to be more of a controlling variety of Storm. We are going to want to swamp in this. Probably 2 of them. We don't want to completely die to like Back to Basics or Blood Moon. This card's P good. Urborg I can see in this deck too. So I think we're going to play Underground River. In the debate now, River of Tears is also kind of interesting. I think we'll be open to that option. The mana is a little less flexible on it. 28's obviously going to be too few lands. I think I'm going to look to play Creeping Tar Pit too. The card's very good at dealing with walkers, and if we're planning on being a little slower, I think I can possibly get it in there. This will be a Wasteland deck. The debate is, do I want to play Field of Ruin too? I'm actually I'm more high on Field of Ruin than a lot of folks are. I don't really like it in mid-range decks or like hard combo decks, but I do like it in control and combo control decks. The debate in my mind is like, how heavily do I want to play control with this deck, or how heavily do I need to play control with it? I don't know. Like I'm thinking through the build now. Like I said, I don't think I want to like put in like Labman plus the other Jays as well. I feel like that's just too much. Too much control. Let's put in some cards we don't want to play. I want to play Dark Ritual in this deck. I do think I want Gush in this deck. Daze is probably acceptable. This is a Force of Will deck. Alright, Duress, Inquisition, Thoughtseize, Fatal Push. There's a lot of cards that should just choose themselves. I mean, like, I hate to say, like, there's cards that choose themselves, right? Because, like, that kind of means that I have a bias towards how I build my decks. But, like, these are cards that, like, if you're in the color, like, you generally want to play them. Now, I would say with the hand attack, that's less often true. The cantrips that I'm putting in is very true. And then, like, Fatal Push, pretty absolute. You generally want that card in most decks because the board is very important to build impact. Now, this hand attack spells, the less proactive you are, I think the more you want. The less proactive you are, the more hand attack you want, the more disruption you need because you need to buy time against the fast linear combo decks. Where it's not going to serve you well is against like the aggressive decks, which is one of the reasons why you put win conditions like Doomsday and Thassa's Oracle into decks like this, because you want to have a quick kill, like a kill that can kill out of nowhere, when you kind of do a whole bunch of nothing trying to set up to that, and a whole bunch of disruption, try to buy that time. Collective Brutality is another one that I think you just generally want. Could even run Unearth in this deck for the Thassa's Oracle. That doesn't really bear a ton of relevance versus Doomsday, though. I'll have to think on that one. That could be a possibility too. Like I've gotten a lot higher on like just Value Reanimate. Value Reanimate's pretty good, especially in a deck that can kill a bunch of stuff. This is going to be a Force of Negation deck. And I wish I had a 0. Let's get a Gataxian Probe, because that will be a deck that is run in this style of deck. That way, I guess it's not technically a 0. I'm very fastidious about how I build my deck, how my decks look when I'm building them. I just want this this 0 right here. So I can put these cards over here so I understand where my cards actually fall. Now, obviously, these all have converted mana cost, but they don't really. They're all kind of 0s. Alright, so this is the baseline. What else do we think we want in this? I mean, this deck's probably going to need a Toxic Deluge, would be my guess. We'll probably want one of that effect. Right now, in terms or in regards to points, we are actually at 0. We have no points in the deck. So, a couple other questions we have to ask ourselves, like, what points do we want in the deck? Like, it could be a Black Lotus deck. Could run Black Lotus. Could also see Ancestral Recall. Make it like the more controlling variety of like Doomsday. I don't mind that. Ancestral Recall is a great way to break a Doomsday pile. Right now we have Gush to do that. We have the Gitaxian Pro. We have the Top. I don't mind Ancestral. Matter of fact, I quite like Ancestral. One of my favorite cards to play with. I don't think it's actually the best 7-point card, though. I think that mantle either lies on Lotus or Time Vault. I think those are probably the... If you play Blue-Black Control, like play Time Vault. It's like if you want to win a bunch. I'm trying to just brew with you guys and try to go through this building process. The reason I think Ancestral is kind of interesting is because... I don't know, I haven't seen a ton of Doomsday builds built that way. And maybe we'll shy away from even doing Storm with it. Maybe we'll really focus in on just like the Doomsday win lines. I mean, those do struggle with, like, stifle effects, which could be an effect I want even in this deck, to stifle, Nimble Obstructionist triggers. We could do that. Misdirection's also kind of interesting. Want to consider that. Dark Confidant may be a little bit too ambitious. This is a him deck, though. I can see him to Turek. We are still a little land shy. I think this is going to be a deck that wants to be like 35 to 37 lands, with where I'm kind of mentally constructing the deck right now, which is going to be a more like landed kind of controlling variety of combo. The interesting thing about this line is I think it's going to require less cards than doing something along the lines of like Reanimator or like Reanimator by density or Control Reanimator like Gifts Reanimator, and then the other one I was thinking of, like Ooze combo, like Necrotic Ooze. It's typically like a 4 to 6 card, like kind of like requirement for deck building, because you want like your Buried Alive to like put your Ooze, your Walking Ballista, and your Phyrexian Devourer in the graveyard. Whereas this just kind of requires like Doomsday. Ritual's kind of a supporting actor in this deck as well. Yeah. So 7-pointer on Recall. I don't mind that. The question becomes, what do we use for the last 2 points? Spellseeker's not a bad one to find Recall. I also don't mind Mystical Tutor to find Doomsday or Recall. Or Gush, even. Could even do, like, I can't do Demonic Tutor. If I want Demonic Tutor, we have to cut the Ancestral. And I actually think I like Ancestral here. Let's put some more cantrips in that I think are going to be kind of like... For me, and these style of decks are kind of deck building canon. Like, I actually think Sleight of Hand is better than Serum Visions, but I'm going to play both. I think this deck is going to want a lot of those style of effects. I even think this may be a peak deck. The question I have is, like, do I want to go into, like, transmute cards, like Shred Memories, Perplex, all that kind of stuff? I don't know yet. I'm not quite sold, or not sure if I want to go that way. I do think I want to put in Spell Pierce. We are going to want this sort of disruption as well, stack-based interaction. And I think we're going to want Mana Leak. This is probably a negate deck. Definitely a Remand deck. Remand, Memory Lapse. I'm actually slightly higher on these sort of cards over like Literal Counterspell, just because the mana is a lot easier. Not that this deck should have a struggle with mana. Alright, Counterspell. Counter Squall probably also fine. I'm wondering if this is a Dark Confidant deck too. Like, I'm just like looking at it, like debating in my mind, like what I think of Dark Confidant. Thing in the Ice is probably a card I will play in this deck, so it'd be like more of a controlling Doomsday build. Taking a lot of damage off our cards right now, as it stands. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna go with Tendrils in this build. I think I want to build this like almost purely as a control deck. So let's go Abrupt Decay. Trophy. Frantic Search is a card that I think we're going to want. Because ostensibly, like, you want, like, Frantic Search plus, like, Gitaxian Probe plus Gush is going to break a whole pile down to 0 cards. You need one more draw to actually break that, right? But, I mean, you can get that, like, any other cantrip is going to do it. But that's a completely mana-neutral way to break an entire pile apart. So, yeah. I mean, it's a 3-card commitment to the pile, though, to said pile. But I guess you only need that Oracle from that point to actually win. So, it's probably fine. Yeah. I think I like having Frantic Search in this build, though. I think there's any other, like, mana neutral. I mean, you actually have Street Wraith, which I think is a card that we will play in this deck as well. As a 0 mana just cycler. Could even look to play like Manamorphose in this deck. I mean, I do have the ability to fix for it based on having this 2-color, 5-color mana base that I've kind of put together that, you know, like, again, significantly dies to price of progress and stuff like that, but allows us to kind of harness the power of Tainted Pact to, I think, a higher degree. Could also set up for gifts, if we wanted to run gifts in this deck, because we can choose, if we want to do land piles. I mean, it's not going to be often that you do land piles, I think, in this deck. If you're already casting a 4-drop gifts, you probably don't need it at that point. I think we can Miscalc in this deck, too. I think Miscalc as a cycler, it's a free, it's not a free draw, but it's draw off a card is probably fine. Could even like Sylvan Library, but I think that's probably a little bit too ambitious. Like I was saying, I do think Leovold is probably pretty good in this deck. I really do kind of think this card is, well, it's very, very good, right? Probably going to want some number of Planeswalkers. Like, I'm almost like putting Renin 6 in the deck just to, like, get free draws. I mean, Oko probably goes in. I mean, Oko's just so good, right? I mean, like, the card quality on this is just so absurd. You probably just put this Dumbo in there. If we're going to do that, we want to look to put in, is another land, can't think of the name, Overgrown Tomb. That's the one. And yeah, I think we do. Alright. Latinam's Legacy is also kind of interesting in a more controlling build like this. I am pretty sure I want to... I mean, Thing in the Ice is the thing that we're going to play. We'll put Thing in the Ice in the deck. Search for Escanta is probably fine. I think this is also a Deprive deck. I think Deprive is just fine. Pretty much where we want to be. What other 1-mana interaction do we want? If we want any. So we have Ancestral. Do you want Mystical Tutor or Vampiric Tutor? I think Mystical Tutor's probably fine. The Life Loss could be relevant. I do think I want it over another 1-pointer. And then, like, what goes to my last point? I mean, like, I don't think it's Imperial Seal. That card's P-bad. Just do Dig Through Time. Dig Through Time doesn't seem the worst. I mean, how else do Merchant Scroll? No, that's not good. Could do Spellseeker. Spellseeker finds Mystical Tutor. It finds Ancestral Recall. It finds Tainted Pact. It finds Demonic Consultation. I don't mind that. Spellseeker may be right. Dig Through Time is also pretty good. I mean, maybe we don't need this Mystical. Maybe we'll reconsider the Mystical Tutor. But we have a lot of ways to draw into the top of our deck. Even free ways with the Street Wraith, etc. Alright, I do think we want Nimble Obstructionist. Just these style of cards. These cards are very good. Brazen Borrower. They also build up our, if we have them on the board, they build up our Devotion, which is relevant for the Thassa's Oracle. When we cast Thassa's Oracle, though, we're going to have nothing in our deck, is the idea at least. We're not a Devotion deck by any means. But there could be game states that come up where we do want some additional Devotion. The other question I've got is this a Baral deck? This could be a Baral deck, too. Like, I have a lot of counter magic in the deck as it stands right now. We could play Brawl. I'm willing to give it a shot. And then JVP is also kind of interesting in these style of decks too. Like, do you run it? Don't you run it? Drown in the Lock's another card that I think I'm fine playing in this deck. Being able to deal with the board is good. If you can't counter something with it early, and then being able to just counter anything in the long game. And this is a deck that looks like it's going to trade cards pretty aggressively. It's got a lot of counter magic, a lot of hand attack, some kill spells, some mass removal, a few creatures that will probably be blocking pretty often. Given that as well, Leovold may be ambitious. Maybe we don't need Leovold in this deck. I think the card's just so good, though. It just helps out so much in blue mirrors. So we're at 81. We are mana shy right now, but we are a mana lean deck. I think we are just going to play Jace. That Jace may be our only 4-drop we play in the deck. There is a debate if I want to play Mystic Confluence. The card is very good. Cryptic Command. The old Doomsday Cryptic Command deck. I don't know if I'm a Cryptic Command deck. Some of this is thinking out loud, guys. Sorry. I'm kind of getting to the point where we are debating. We're doing the fine work on the deck at this point. Huh. Part of me also wants to run Swift End / Murderous Rider as a way to deal with Planeswalkers. The resolve, but I guess with the combo kill, you don't really per se have to be as worried about Planeswalkers. That could be BS. Could just run Damnation in the deck too. How many creatures do we have? 9? This could be a Damnation deck. If we're going to be a Damnation deck, though, we're looking to really, rely heavily on the control. At that point, you do need to start countering Planeswalkers or, dealing with them in some way, shape, or form. Could just play the other Jace, too. Well, we do want to have Snapcaster in this. I'm missing a few cards here, eh? Snapcaster, yep, get in there, buddy. Baleful Strix is probably fine. Just buys a lot of time. I don't think we're going to get to enough creatures where we can just play Diabolic Intent, although I would like to. That card's very good. I don't think this is a Thought Scour or Mental Note deck. Don't think we're doing that quite. Do we want 3 mana counter magic? We're going to need to add more cards to the deck. We're a little bit shy right now. I could see adding in Disallow, Sinister Sabotage, maybe? Maybe? Put in a Murderous Rider. I can never remember the names of the. Alright, we're going to want 2 or fewer. Come on, Moto. 2 or fewer. I want Botanical Sanctum in this deck. Don't know about that. I do want this. Botanical Sanctum may be ambitious. I'm willing to give it a go. Type in draw. We're gonna get the not the check lands, these lands, the canopy lands. Because they allow us to break into piles. They're very mana intensive, but they do allow us to get into piles. The question is going to be, do I have enough islands? I think I have enough islands to get. And then I want the filter land. The filter land is the last one I want. And like I said, I can never remember the names of these, so my quick hand way of finding the filter land is like this. We may be cutting some lands too. Maybe we don't need 37 total. We are a little more controlling. What is this deck going to struggle with? This deck's not looking to be exceedingly fast. So it may have issues like land-style decks. Maybe we need to run some way to deal with the yard, the bin. Alright, Zendikar Expeditions. I can never remember this card's name. There it is, Sunken Ruins. Get in there, buddy. I don't know if Sunken Hollow is necessary in the build. But we are short a few cards that we are probably going to want to play. Do you want a Pact Negation in this deck? Is Pact necessary? Pact is not, per se, at its worst in this style of deck. I'm going to put in a Pact. I think Pact of Negation is fine in this style of combo deck. Quick pause, guys. I got a phone call coming in. We'll be right back to finish up the build. Alrighty, folks, we are back. And another card I was thinking of is Evasive Action. Even though we're a 2-color deck, that's why I didn't think of it initially. Evasive Action is kind of interesting in this deck. Like, in order to play with Tainted Pact, we have a more aggressively 5-color blue mana base. So I think Evasive Action is probably good enough in the deck. Let's look at Transmuters. I don't know. The more I look at it, the more I think maybe we do want just Demonic Tutor in this deck over Ancestral Recall. The reason being, it's easier to transmute for. There's better transmute cards to get into it. And it may just set up more in the deck. I don't know. Not sold either way yet. Are there any good zeros who want? I don't think we need Teleria West. I mean, we could find, Pact Negation with it. That's it, actually. Doesn't really find anything. LED, no. Like I said, I kind of want to stay away from red. I don't really want to... I want to stay away from Storm, actually. I want to try to stay away from Storm in this build. Not because I think it's wrong to play Storm in this deck. I think this deck's probably better with a Storm package in it. But I think they're... That's just not what I'm exploring with the build, right? Could also Muddle in this deck. Muddle is interesting in this deck. I mean, it finds Thassa's Oracle, which is our win condition. What else does it find? Not much, really. I mean, finds Daze. Thing in the Ice, I guess. JVP. Are we at the Brawl JVP? We're not even on JVP right now, are we? I think we could be. Well, maybe not. JVP is not really a combo. I guess JVP does kind of combo a little bit on the back end with Doomsday if you like Gush Gush. That doesn't work the way you want it to, though. You have to hard cast it from the graveyard. You recall JVP. Had to have a start off cantrip though to make it work. And get probe. That's 4 life though, which is going to be significant after this deck gets beat the hell down in the early game. I can see Knight's Whisper in this deck too. I don't know if we need to be going that deep. And card draw. But I do like the card a lot. I'll put it in for now, in a minimum. This deck could even run, what is it, Painful Truths. Painful Truths isn't, like, the worst. It's not the worst. I'll put in Muddle. I think Muddle is fine. I think that's going to be the only transmute card I run, though. I'm not going to run Dimir Infiltrator. Shred is pretty bad. Perplex, pretty bad. I don't think well, I guess I could run Perplex, right? Define D-Day. I don't mind that. I kind of want more pitch counter magic in this deck, too. Let's look at the numbers real fast. I'm pretty heavily blue. Yeah, very, very heavily blue. Do I want like a... Nah, not Thwart. I don't want a Thwart. Foil's pretty bad. Could just be Misdirection. Just to beat other blue decks. This deck's going to struggle really heavily with, like, red deck wins. With, like, good aggressive decks. Because it's kind of like a subsidiary version or a weaker version of, like, a Time Vault deck. It does have less dumped resources in its control game plan to kind of enable the combo game plan it's got. Because Time Vault requires a lot of cards. I mean, I guess this deck does too. I mean, you got Doomsday, Perplex. I can't call Tainted Pact a dumped cost. I mean, it is. It's a tempo negative card, but it finds whatever you may need. How do we beat those decks? Thing in the Ice is kind of it right now. We're out of points to give because we're on, what, Mystical plus Seeker plus Ancestral at the moment. Kind of want to see if there's more cantrips that we could run. Draw. Could use, that'd be kind of funny. Use, what's it called? Bizarre Baghdad to get through cards. I always want to play that card. In this format, it's not generally the most correct, though. Let's use some Spell Bombs. Spell Bombs are interesting. Or Eggs. I don't think we need to do that, though. I don't think we're that desperate. This deck doesn't die to Graveyard Hate. Do we need Graveyard Hate? Like, Nile Spellbomb may not be the worst. Yeah, we'll debate that. That may not be the worst. Just because we are a control deck, and like this deck's gonna be a little slower to combo off in general. And blowing up someone's bin is not bad. I forgot Opt. Opt should be in here. That is a card we'll play with. Are we on peak already? Yeah, we're on peak. Yeah, we're not quickening. Okay, that's probably about where we want to be. We're a 37 land. We probably cut some lands, actually. And if we're going to do that, like what do we cut? Like Botanical Sanctum looks kind of stinky. Creeping Tar Pit may be a little stinky, too. Like on to 35 lands. We have a lot of cantrips. Do we need more? This deck is going to want to hit its lands, though. Let's defer that decision for a little bit. I just kind of want to look through draw cards. Because I think we're going to want to see a lot of cards with this deck. Accumulated Knowledge? Oh, I wish. Don't I wish. Censor's interesting. Chart of Course is also fine. Censor is actually kind of interesting to me. I don't mind that card. Interdict. Just get them. Latnam's Legacy is probably fine too in this style of deck. Let's put that in. Just get through cards. The Looters, probably not. Omen of the Sea is also quite good. Predict. Cool card. I don't mind Omen. Is it better than Censor? Yeah, probably. Alright. 37 lands. 1,000,002 in 1 drops. I don't know. I don't mind this deck. Well, we can give it a try, give it a shot, see if this ends up working out. This is we're gonna fish it before we start playing games, but let's jump in and fish this deck a bit and see how it fares. It's a lot of lands. We may want to go down to 36. We only have one 4-drop in the deck, but we'll test it with 37 initially. If Moto will cooperate, it looks like it's having some issues. All right. All right, Doomsday combo. Yes, I would love to create a game. Yes, I'll be playing by myself. So, I don't know. I don't know how good this deck's going to be. Like, right now, it's very controlling. So it's going to be interesting to fish because this is the style that control decks are tough to fish, right? Because, in general, like, combo control decks a little less so. But, like, hands vacillate a lot in control and what's keepable per matchup. More so than they do in, like, more aggressive decks, like Red Deck Wins, like Storm. Even some varieties of Combo Vault. Alright, well, Moto's struggling, guys. I'm sorry. Evidently, with the recorder on, it's a bit much for it to handle. But once we get this game up, we'll see if we can play it. May need to restart Moto, too. Come on, baby. Alright, this is not a keepable hand. This would be a mulligan. This would be a keepable hand. I think what I would end up doing here is putting the fetid pools on the bottom. I'm also not quite sure on those lands. Alright, I would pretty much auto do this. See that. Put out the redundant land that does damage to me because I don't think I'm quite in a place where I would want to be doing damage to myself. If I was playing a game, like, this would be an interesting decision point. Like, you're probably not Assassin's Trophying this early in a game, but, you know, the question becomes, like, am I playing against Control where I can get down to search for his Kanto, which is great, or do I want to leave up a remand? Against hard combo, I wouldn't expect to get comboed out on turn 3. I could, but if I did, I would just be losing that game anyways. Probably wouldn't bother with a remand. No, I'm not going to put that in my bin. I'm going to keep that one. I'm going to play out this one. Now, this is also another interesting decision point, right? Because, like, if we're against a combo deck, like, if we're against, we can go two ways with this. Like, we can play out the Oko against a fair deck and try to start stymieing them and, like, building our own value up and basically just being a general nuisance to them. Or we can go for a Mystical Tutor line to go for Recall or to go for Doomsday. So we have options, right? I don't think I would want a Doomsday at this point. If I was one more land heavy, I probably would try to go for something. Like if I had the mana to cast it, I could play this Waterlogged and use it to break the pile. I probably would, but in this case, I would just make a thing or stop their best mana. No, I don't think I want to put that in the bin either. Turn this into an Elk. Play this one out. Now we could DC here, or we could Mystical Tutor for what? I think this is a recall. Come on, baby. We're not going to attack here. I think in real life we'd be blocking no. There is the Doomsday regardless. Now, kind of showing our butts here on the Mystic Sanctuary. It's looking pretty bad. I think what the play is here is we're still going to play this Sanctuary out. Play out the Seeker, find Muddle the Mixture, which can in turn find the Thassa's Oracle. We're just looking for land here. Does land do it? I think we're still short. I'll put Snapcaster into the bin. I'm going to play this one out, looking for a land drop again. Thing in the ice, not exactly it. So we're going to set up to win next turn, is what would have happened here. So we'll transmute this thing into Thassa's Oracle. Pass the turn. Yeah, I'm not going to use my Oko here, but the game, if they weren't killing me, the game would probably be over. I'd put that in my bin. Yeah, this Creeping Tar Pit is not impressing me in this build. But what you'd end up doing here is casting this thing out. Trigger on stack. Name. Not a card in my deck. I don't have a card. Actually, I don't need a card draw. This just wins. I always forget this. This is not a Laboratory Maniac. It's going to win here. Yeah, okay. This is pretty slow. It's turn 7 kill. Given we did have options for significant amount of control in this game, if we needed to, a permanent base removal, we have Oko for life gain and just stymieing like more aggressive decks. I don't know if we would have made it there against like the most consistent aggressive decks like red deck wins and whatnot. But the deck functions at a minimum. It appears to function. So let's do this. Before I do any changes, although the mana base seems a little shaky at best, let's see if we can get a game against someone, and we'll playtest this deck and see what it does. Alright, come on, Discord. Yeah, we're struggling right now to record, plus play Moto, plus Discord, I guess. May I? Oofa doofa. Come on. Come on. Alright, let's see if we can get a game here. See if we can get a game. Well, Bad Wolf is not. Oh, Munwolf is. Alright. Let's see. Oh, we'll see. They may have already gotten a game. It looked like they put that notice up a little while ago. I didn't check the timestamp on it. No, I guess it was only 2 minutes ago. So we'll see. Maybe we got a game here. Moto is apparently breaking again. You can see I got a spinning circle. So we'll see if we get to play. Alright, we're playing. Cool. Don't have exceedingly high hopes. It's fairly untuned. I mean, you saw me build this deck, so... yeah, this hand's good, though. Keep it. One of the things that like I try to do with like these decks, like there's a lot of cards that like, in my opinion, like when you're in certain color schemes, are almost homogenous cards. Like you should play them because they're that good. Like Hymn to Trick, right? And a 2-color deck is pretty good. Limit the amount of like weirdo cards that you play in these decks. Okay, well, yep. I don't really want to commit to finding a black mana source with this yet. I suppose, like, if I have to, I can find Force of Will if I really need to. Kind of hoping to kind of fade removal here. I mean, with this demonic consultations I'm talking about. That doesn't seem like a great way to play this game, but probably allow whatever's going to happen. And then either hymn them next turn. Alright, Birds is pretty good news. I mean, there's a chance that I'm supposed to just actually allow them to play their next card out. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Evasive Action's kind of embarrassing here, too. I mean, I guess it's not embarrassing. Like, we can... Sure. I guess if they have, like... Don't want to fetch now. If they have, like, Aven Mind Sensor, that could be pretty disastrous. I suppose I will. What I want to do here, I could have hymned this turn, but they have 3 cards. They're going to have 4 cards in hand now. They would have had 2 after untap. I'd rather like use these counter spells initially and then get their last like best cards out of their hand. I could mana screw them, but yeah, that's not happening. I'm actually going to use the evasive action for 1. Hopefully they don't have a Simian Spirit Guide or something. And now that they have 2 cards in hand, we'll put them off the top of their deck. I am going to find, I think... Gosh, I really want to find Bayou with this. But the problem is... This tricky spot, right? Kind of want an island. Because that means that, at that point, Flooded Strand becomes live. You know, I think I'm fine with this. I'm just going to find Underground Sea. My thinking is, like, one of the things you have to consider with your fetch lands is, especially if they're non-blue fetch lands, I mean, I guess Verdant Catacombs kind of is a blue fetch land, because you can find, like, Tropical Island and Underground Sea. But the problem you run into with it is, what it will tend to struggle with is, you can't find Mystic Sanctuary. So we'll get these 2 cards. Hopefully they don't have things that come back from the graveyard. Okay, it's Temple Guard and Nissa. Cool. Alright, they drew a land. They're going to activate this Stirring Wild Wood. Yep. And hit us for 3. Not the biggest deal. That's fine. Could try to Doomsday pile here. Let's see what they do. Like DC. I don't want to DC for Doomsday. That's really aggressive. I don't have to do that here. Alright, they're just attacking. Cool. I will, however, cycle this thing off. Alright, Pact. Not my idea of a great draw. Pardon, guys. I should have F6'd. Moto's laggy right now, so I can't un-F6. Alright. Alright. I wouldn't mind finding a land here. Would not mind finding a land drop here. They have to counter this turn. Alright. I think, honestly, like, the worst thing they can do here is try to cast stuff. I mean, they've already kind of got me on a clock. So I think I kind of just like them, like, just leaving me on a clock, you know? Alright. Well, that is a worthless card. I do think here we're just going to cast Omen of the Sea, looking for a land drop. That makes the Pact come online. Moto, please. We'll top. Alright, so we do have Mystic Sanctuary. We get back a Preordain here. Oh, Moto, please. Counter this. I kind of want to just win here. Kind of want to just try to win here. That's why I'm putting the preordain back on top. I can put Deprive back on top, but like, opponent's eventually going to get kind of like smart to what's going on here. Be like, all right, they have all counter magic in hand, and they're going to stop casting spells and just start attacking with this Stirring Wildwood. And I don't really have a way to deal with it right now. I mean, I haven't found a way yet to deal with it. Yep, that makes sense. I'm going to bottom that one and top this one. Bottom. We'll opt here. Alright, I'll take a legacy. They probably just have a land in hand. Terminus? Yep, got it. Yep. Alright, let's draw 3 here. I'll draw step plus these 2. Alright, bunch of lands. Unfort. Alright, we're going to play this one out because we can stabilize this card against the Stirring Wildwood. Wouldn't mind drawing, like, well, it's basically anything at this point. I will take a 3-hit off this card. Yep. Cast this Alatnam's Legacy again. Now, one of the unfortunate things is I do not have a draw in hand anymore. Get rid of this island. I don't think I require it. Alright, so they have a bunch of Wraths in hand. Which don't seem like they're going to do all that much. This is a weird deck they're playing. They have a bunch of Wrath of Gods, and then, like, I guess they have some Planeswalkers, so I guess that kind of makes sense. Like a Abzan control deck. Yeah, that's fine. Alright, that should be a game win. So we will Dark Ritual. Find the Oracle. Name Hunted Wumpus or whatever. Just something that's not in my deck. Bandit Hope, fine. And that's a game. Alright, well, we didn't find a kill spell. Maybe we need more of those. I don't know. Alrighty. Well, I don't know if this is a great representation of the deck. The deck probably needs some more tuning. But it worked. It was very slow, but it's a control deck, right? I don't know. I mean, maybe it's better just to play Vault. But I kind of want to brew up something interesting. Maybe we don't even need D-Day in this. Maybe it's just an Oracle deck. I mean, D-Day is kind of an interesting one to brew with, though. And it does work well with the Oracle as well. Maybe you just don't need it, though. Maybe it doesn't set up enough in the build. Well, alright. Moto is behaving very badly right now. So I pushed submit, but we're waiting for it. We may need to cut the video after one game as well. And I'm sorry to you guys, but like it's really unbearably slow on my end. This hand is unkeepable. It has no lands. Deck definitely needs lands to play a game of Magic. Perplex is also so bad. I'll keep this. I'm going to get rid of this one. One, I just hit lands here. We're a 37 land deck, so we're pretty favored to hit it. We have a Serum Vision to kind of smooth our draw out unless we get like hand attack turn one. I mean, really, they just have to swamp me. All right, Oath and Nissa is great to see. I mean, like they're gonna get a free card off of it, but like it's not a mana dork, which is like what worries me the most versus their build in the deck, their deck. Caracas is annoying as hell. That's gonna stop this Baral, which I was kind of hoping to two spell with the turn after I played it. Misdirection does not work on abilities either. Alright, we're gonna bottom. I could have kept the card draw. It's not likely they're gonna have a 2-mana Planeswalker. I'm gonna say like Mox Planeswalker. Alright, that's fine. Maybe I want Field of Ruin would be interesting in this deck too. I was like talking about the card before, like we're really controlling, so maybe Field of Ruin is just better. I'm gonna be a coward here. My hand does not have the resources to go off next turn. Nor do I think this build really is built in a way that it's gonna typically do that. Is it Green Sun Zenith? No, that card. Gonna do this for now. Hoping to hit a land here. Did not hit a land. Okay. They don't want it? Interesting. I'm cool with that. Like if they're not recasting that Liliana's a problem. Like I don't want that card to be on the board. I also have probably too many bounce cards in hand right now. Like the Gush is very nice. It's good for breaking Doomsday piles, but they didn't want the Liliana. I think Liliana's quite good. I think I am going to Whisper here. Alright, found some lands. Now, anything they resolve here is going to possibly be problematic. If they got nothing, that'd be the best. We'll take this card. Play this one out. Say go. I don't really mind getting beat down by the Treetop Village for a while. I think I've got some time on that. Yeah, okay. They're going to play some big, excuse the language, dumbass Planeswalker. And we only need to counter for one here. I do think I'm going to get a Tropical Island. I think that's accurate. I think that is correct. They have a counter spell? That'd be kind of cool. Okay. Mana Tithe? Yeah, I was to say, if you thought seized me, I'll probably just misdirect it here, because I do kind of want to protect. We're going to Mystical Tutor right here. Find Ancestral. We'll do it now, generate options. Alright. Well, we do need to find a land drop, right? Oh. This is 100% fine. I just cycle off the I don't think I counter that. I think that's fine. Yeah, it's fine. I don't see a point in countering that. Okay. I don't need to go for it this turn. So I think what I want to do is make my land drop. I need a Thoughtseize right now. Not really. Okay. If I Doomsday this turn, I go down to 7. Am I going to die? Is the question. Is it worth it? It may be, honestly. This can't bounce the Treetop Village, right? Yeah, non-land. I'm taking 4 off that regardless. I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to D-Day and then just pass. The old D-Day pass plan. I want the most mana efficient cards. But I don't think I'm going to have infinite life to play with on my next turn. Matter of fact, I know I'm not. Frantic Search plus Gush will put me to 0 cards in deck. So I don't need Recall back. Probably just take Force of Will, right? And then Thassa's Oracle. And I cannot do this right now, right? Do I require mana? No, I'm going to have plenty of that, I believe. Yeah. This is also not a great deck to play, Wilmoto's being hinky. Alright, so Gush, I'm going to draw a card for the turn. Frantic Search, Gush, mana neutral, actually mana positive by 1. Into Oracle DC for whatever, nothing. I guess Oracle's trigger itself is gonna win me the game. So I just need Frantic Search to be in the top 2. So I think what I want to do is this. Put Pact on the very bottom. Thassa's Oracle, DC. And then these two. Down to 6. So if they can find a way to do 3 additional damage to me, then I could die here. I also have Force of Will on top, so if I need to Force of Will something I can right now, I can Gush to Force of Will. Yeah, this is fine. And like Swords to Plowshares doesn't stop me here. So down to 3. We'll Gush. Frantic Search. Okay, and got him. Yeah, Thassa's Oracle with Force of Will back up, Misdirection back up, plus Pact Negation back up. A very slow kill. Against a slower deck. I think in general this deck would be favored against, but that was kind of like, I guess what I want to do is like do like a just build a deck for fun. And then kind of showcase how it plays, some testing with it. I do think there's some fine tuning that needs to be done in this deck, and I'm not going to go through that entire process because some of the building process can be like tedious. But I kind of want to show how I approach deck building in the format. I mean, and you know, if you're playing Doomsday, there's probably better variants of Doomsday that you can build that will end up running cards like, you know, Storm cards. Basically, but I kind of stated like in the beginning of this, like I didn't really feel like going into Storm route with the deck. I kind of want to build more of a control Doomsday deck, and that's kind of what you have here. The deck's very fun to play. I think it does require some tuning. Probably go down to 36 lands. I think cards like Perplex are just too poopy. I think that card can come out. We can put something better in. I don't mind Muddle. I think Muddle is good. I think being able to find the Oracle was kind of nice there. Being able to find Doomsday seems a little like less necessary. The Doomsday pass line is generally not where you want to be. But no, like, I did it just for mana efficiency. I had enough mana on the following turn just to cast Doomsday and go for it, but I made the deliberate decision that in that matchup I didn't think it mattered that much. The worst thing they could have done to me is I cast, like, what's that stupid card called? Gosh, can't think, guys. The black 2/3 Death Toucher, Gonti. And then like got the cards off the top of my deck. That's the card that comes to mind first that they would possibly have in their deck. And if they had, like, I had Force of Will on top of my deck so that I could Gush into it, I'd be a little mana shy on the next turn, but I'd be able to get back to it with the Frantic Search that I put on top as well. That I would Gush into an instant speed on their turn. So I had that card covered. So there's kind of a lot of decision making in the deck, and it's honestly this is a fun archetype to really play. And the reason I cut the Storm is really just to add to that fun for me, because it's more of a puzzle box like this. It's a little less easy, I guess, is my point. Playing it this way, but I do think this deck could be fine tuned. I think you cut out like Knight's Whisper, probably cut out Perplex. That card seems bad. But the rest of the deck I'm decently happy with. I think the deck functioned. It showcased that it can function. It's a little probably slower than like the all-in combo variants. But it also has a lot of good control elements going on in it too. So if you're playing against other blue decks, you're not going to get blued out. Storm, like you have a lot of disruption in this style of deck as well. And again, you could just still kind of win out of nowhere. So I mean, it kind of has that win out of nowhere thing going on. Now against the red decks, you're going to struggle. Like you're going to have a tough time. But against a lot of the mid-range decks, like the lands deck stuff like that, that are a little slower, more attritional, I think this deck can definitely get there because it kind of has that combo, that splinter twin combo, kind of going on in it. Now, if you want to build the best version of this style of deck, like if you want to build a blue-black, combo control deck, build Vault. If you want to win every single time, it's the better deck. But I do think this is pretty sweet, and I kind of want to showcase just a deck build from the ground up, and one playtesting session of it. In this case, first Abzan Control. I am going to cut it there because Moto is going very slow. I will fine tune this deck and possibly put out more content on it, and just showcase like as the deck kind of grows and as we playtest it, as we kind of go through the build and tune it. What it ends up turning into. So hope you guys had fun. Hope you guys enjoyed like the process of building. And kind of just looking at this archetype as a whole, just Doomsday or basically combo control, blue-black combo control. That is not Vault, so this is something you don't see all the time. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed and take care now.